Hey, this is Charles again. I just wanted to come back to you and just hope you're enjoying these sessions as we're discovering how to dominate the real estate investing market. Today I want to be talking to you about the quick cash methodology. So get your pens and paper out. I know I've got mine too, and we'll be taking some notes today. First thing I want you to talk about or want to discuss with you on the quick cash methodology is there are certain qualifications that we use to determine is this a quick cash deal or not in real estate. Number one, you need to make sure you don't use your own cash or credit. I talked about that earlier with the most common mistakes that real estate investors make. Number two is I don't want you to use your own personal credit either. So we're going to talk about some ways that we need to approach that so you don't have to put your own credit at risk. If you have good credit, you want to protect that. Maybe you don't have the best credit in the world, and that's okay. I'm going to show you how to make money without having your own cash or credit. The third thing you want to do is make sure that you can actually get a deal done quickly. That's why we call it the quick cash method, is because you need to go from starting out with locating a deal all the way to the point that you cash a check at the bank, ideally within 30 days. So you could take what you learn just from these sessions alone and actually go implement what you learn, go do a deal, and have a check in your hand to deposit within 30 days. And that's what we want you to learn. Now, there are a few ideal types of deal structuring that helps you to meet these qualifications. So I want to share those with you, and hopefully we'll edit this video a little bit and maybe show you some of this on the video screen. And again, if not, just go ahead and take good notes, because we've got a lot to share here. Number one, the most ideal situation, and at least my favorite, is lease options, also known as lease purchases or rent to own. Now, you may think that you know what that is, and some of you may have already done a few, some may not, and it sounds simple. And it's simple in its elegance, but you really need to understand how it's constructed. Number one, with a lease option or a lease purchase, is it's a lease, number one, that you would negotiate with a seller of property, that you would be able to rent it like a tenant would for a long or extended period of time. How long would that be? Well, I always, ideally, I want to try to get 3 to 5 years or longer, and if you can get that, that's great. Can you do it for a year? Of course, and still make money, but I would try to get at least 2 or 3 years or longer on a lease. Then, in addition to this lease document, which just gives you the right to occupy that property, to sublet it, that's going to be one of the things that we talk about how to do that in the course, is you want to make sure you have all the rights of occupancy, of subletting, and use, all your rights that you would have with real estate. And then the second part that you want to get with this lease option or lease purchase is either a separate contract or an addendum to the existing lease that gives you the right to purchase the property at a guaranteed price. Now, again, we're going to get into maybe some more details in some later sessions on how we negotiate these kind of documents. But what I want you to think about is this: if you're a seller in today's market, the market's really turbulent. It's kind of flat in some areas. It's still going down. I have heard of some areas that are beginning to rebound. But as a seller, most people are having their properties on the market for extended periods of time. Some are giving up. They say, I can't even sell my property. Some are losing their properties to foreclosure, which is becoming more and more prevalent, especially as the year goes on. Maybe even next year we'll still have some problems because of the financial markets. So as a seller of property, people are more motivated now than they ever have been. That's why it's the best time to be getting into real estate, whether you're looking to do it more full-time, part-time, maybe you do something else for a living and you just want to make some extra money. This is the time to get in. And so as a seller, they're more motivated now than ever because it's harder and harder to find qualified buyers. So let's just give you a quick example. Let's say I have a home on the market. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. maybe 2,000, 2,400 square feet, and a two-car garage. This home, fair market value, would be maybe $200,000, $220,000. Well, if I can't get a qualified buyer, I'm going to have to do one of two things. I'm going to have to lower the price to try to get somebody in faster or make it a better deal to attract a bank qualified buyer, or I can lease option my home, which means I can go to you and say, hey, if you will agree to pay me what the home is worth, $220,000, I will allow you to basically lease it from me for the next 24 or 36 months until you are either able to repair your credit to the point that you can get bank qualified, or I can basically create, maybe a little advanced technique, but I can actually create for you a mortgage note myself, and later on I can sell it myself and cash out. But what that does as a seller is it puts somebody in, what we call a tenant buyer, who is going to cover my mortgage and maybe some cash flow. And so if you can come and be a problem solver to that seller right now in the marketplace, you can bring that value to them, relieve them of their burden, because if not, they're still paying that mortgage. It may be a second mortgage they're paying. Or if they're living there and they need to move, they're held back from moving to where they want to be. Or maybe it's a estate sale where it's a deceased relative of some sort. Could be a divorce. I mean, you hear all these situations. You can come in and solve that problem with this lease option contract. And the thing I really want to stress on this, and we'll probably cut this video after this example, and I'll go ahead and do part 2 here in a minute. The thing I want to stress with the lease option concept is that you've heard of lease purchase. There is a difference between a lease purchase and a lease option, or rent to own. A lease purchase is actually where you're agreeing to purchase, which means not only do you have a right to purchase, but you're actually saying, I am going to purchase. It's basically a delayed purchase contract. If you were to submit one like with a real estate agent, you're basically still promising you are going to purchase this property. Whereas a lease option is just what that says. It's a lease with an option.